And this is relatively quick justice in a lot of different ways. I mean, hats off, again, Department of Justice, Krysten Sinema and the Homeland Security Department. They made moves here.
The only way you put it to an end is quick consequences like this.
This has been the fraudulent playbook of the left for a generation.
Yep.
This collusion between the activist base and the left-wing media
Yep.
to create. I mean, Al Sharpton was a pioneer
Oh,
in this.
yeah.
It's like you draw the charge on something, you put your face on camera, and you make it a national news thing. This
No
is how
question.
they distract people from things like fraud and
Yep.
crime.
My prescription got denied again.
I'm your insurance company. You need to talk to your PBM. Please hold. Hi, I'm your PBM.
Aren't you the guy I just talked to?
We get that a lot.
Look, I just need the medicine my doctor prescribed.
Oh, don't worry. I know a different one that's right for us. I mean, you.
In America, parents call the shots for their families, not bureaucrats. But the so-called App Store Accountability Act puts your child at risk. This bill requires app stores to collect children's sensitive personal data while taking away power from parents over how their child's data is handled by tech companies. Parents should get to decide if their child's age is shared with apps, not politicians. Parents should attest to their kids' ages, not turn over birth certificates to tech companies. Congress, don't put kids at greater risk online and box parents out of making decisions for their families. Tell your lawmaker to put parents first. There are better ways to keep kids safe. NetChoice is dedicated to making the internet safe for free expression and free enterprise. Learn more at netchoice.org/keep app stores safe.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
Keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs.
It's time for our main event.
Fun Time Friday. Welcome back to the Ruthless Friday program. It is going to be a fun time. I'm Josh Holmes, along with Comfortably Smug, Michael Duncan, and John Ashbrook, left to right across your radio dial. We're going to have a lot of laughs here, folks. We've got everything from crime and punishment to sexual deviance.
Just another day discussing the left.
Yeah, we got it all.
Yeah.
We got it all. And by the way, we have a great interview that you conducted, Smash.
Scott Turner,
Yeah.
who runs housing and urban development in this country. And we spent a lot of time talking about how he gets to the bottom of the fraud around the country, and then a little bit of time previewing the NFL playoffs this weekend. You know, he spent 9 years in the league, so this guy's an expert.
Yeah, he's a real deal NFL guy. So I mean, this is why you listen to the Ruthless Friday program. You can talk about housing, or you can get like the football picks from a guy that was in the league and he follows the stuff closely.
It's Fun Time Friday.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
It's fun time. It's going to be a fun time. All right. So you recall on Tuesday we covered the Don Lemon church storming with this group of psychopaths, and that was like very illegal what they did. I mean, they basically interrupted a church service, and you can't do that. They stormed the place. It was a look. Beside the law, it was one of those most immoral
That's the thing.
things that
Like,
I've seen.
even if there
anybody
weren't laws on the books, like common human decency, you know, like most people would never even conceive of doing something like that because that's just, it's literally like a demonic thing to do.
It shows you how desperate people like Don Lemon are for content these days.
Yeah.
You know, they got fired from CNN, just like the Jim Acosta thing. Remember where he did the AI interview with the
dead
kid who
child.
was dead?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, these people are desperate for content. You got Don Lemon out there being like, well, I'm a journalist and a Christian. These people are the activists. And it's like, really, dude, you were walking the sidewalk in Minneapolis and you decided, I'm going to go here and report. Like, nobody fucking believes that.
Well, he's like verbally,
you know what I mean?
verbally assaulting the pastor in the pulpit.
Right. I'm just a journalist.
And the guy's like, you know, we're trying to worship here, and he's like, oh, I'm a Christian, and then bumps into him.
Yeah.
Like what?
The left hates church.
Yeah, they do.
They hate church.
They do, but yeah, how you have a fun time with this kind of topic? Because it doesn't seem like a fun time. Well, it gets a lot more fun. If you look at graphic 1 here for a moment, this is where the Homeland Security investigators and the FBI agents arrested Nikema Levy Armstrong, who played a key role in orchestrating the church riots in St. Paul, Minnesota. She's being charged with a federal crime under 18 U.S.C. 241. I don't know exactly what that is, but it sounds official. Religious freedom is the bedrock of the United States, and there is no First Amendment right to obstruct someone from practicing their religion. That's from Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security. It goes on. Here is the subject of this arrest in graphic 2.
Perp walked.
Perp walked.
Love it.
Perp walked.
And this was Nikema, who, from our Tuesday show, had helpfully posted on Facebook and tagged all of her co-conspirators. And Smug had demanded consequences for this, and looks like they delivered.
That's the thing, is there's nothing better than swift justice, because that's the only way you send a message.
Totally.
I mean, we've been seeing in Minnesota, the entire state is basically just a bunch of horrible monsters
just
running
that-
amok
whoa,
across the
right.
board.
Whoa.
I
That's
don't
right.
think there's anything but horrible monsters in the
Hold
state.
them accountable,
And you've been
Smug.
seeing them running amok.
Outrageous.
The only way you put it to an end is quick consequences like this.
Well, so she had to schedule in her arrest because she's been a busy lady. It's not just disrupting church services. You have to find networks that support that point of view and go speak to the masses about the absolute depravity that is your life. And so in clip 1, this is Wednesday night. She was arrested Thursday morning. Wednesday night, this is what she's up to in clip 1.
And I do want to correct something that was said in the beginning. We did not rush into that church. We actually went and sat down and participated in the service.
What?
Okay.
And after the
Like,
pastor
we all
prayed,
this is on
that
CNN.
is
She's
when
allowed
I
to
stood
lie.
up and asked him a question in response
Look at him
to his
nodding
prayer.
along, by the way.
And then he responded
yes,
to me.
yes.
And then I proceeded to ask him about Pastor David Easterwood and how is it possible for him to serve as both the pastor and the director of ICE for Minnesota. And instead of responding to me, as soon as I said the name David Easterwood, the pastor said, shame, shame. And that is when I led us in chants, justice for Renee Good and hands up, don't shoot. So I want to clarify that. We didn't rush in. We didn't bust in. We were a part of the service until I got up and posed that question to the pastor.
Okay, so she's just
All right,
posing
and
questions.
obviously, I'm not going to dispute your saying
course.
what happened.
CNN never disputes.
Why would you do that?
They don't do
CNN
that.
was describing it. I obviously wasn't in the room.
Yeah.
She was like, so we've seen numerous videos of you guys storming the place. Obviously, I'm not going to dispute this. I'm only a journalist on CNN.
Yeah.
It's not my job to try to figure out what didn't happen.
We don't have the internet here at CNN. We don't see what we see with our own eyes. But if you had the internet, what you'd have seen is clip 2.
Tell us why you're doing this.
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere that is a key location. They don't expect us to come there. And then we disrupt business as usual. So that's what we're about to go do right now.
Okay, so look, there's a little discrepancy between being fellow worshipers who happen to ask a question that they didn't get a satisfactory answer for and then decided to make their voices heard, as Nikema would say on CNN, and what we saw there, which was a planned event to disrupt a service, which of course is against the law, but that is what they were doing. And you would also have to just sort of not see, again, maybe the internet is like a low usage at CNN. It does strike me from time to time that they don't have access to a lot of information from what they report. But clip 2A probably puts a finer point on it.
Comfortable white people who are living lavish
lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters.
Doing this to people during a church service, honestly, like, everyone there deserves a medal because you would absolutely be doing the right thing if you grabbed a chair and broke it over his head.
100%.
Like, you hear this guy's voice and what he's saying, how he's speaking to these people.
Look at this kid, man.
Him saying you are a fake Christian to these people.
Why do I not see you out at Whipple every day protesting this attack on humanity? Where are you? You're sinners. You're pretending to be Christians. But we know you live an easy life, don't you?
They were just
A very
there to
easy
ask
life
questions.
while people
Just
are starving.
simply asking a question of the pastor.
Out now! Out now!
There was the subject in question.
Living real comfortable while the people starve. Living real comfortable
What is he even talking
while
about?
children are dragged into concentration camps. You're all living real comfortable, aren't you? Shame on you. Do something. Stand with the Somalis. Stand with the Latinos. Quit ignoring this injustice.
Well,
Okay.
they do look extremely comfortable in the driving snow and 15-degree weather.
Yeah, well, this guy's name is William Kelly. He's like sort of a renowned psychopath.
He goes by DeWoke Farmer.
Yeah, DeWoke Farmer, which seems like it's if the shoe fits. But he had a little something coming too. 2A.
Love it. Yeah.
William Kelly is also perp walked after being arrested on charges of conspiracy to deprive rights.
They always love the FA part, but it's the FO that you never see him smiling.
The woke farmer pulling in a big crop of bullshit.
Yeah. But I really
Real manure patty.
I genuinely love to see that. You really love to see that because that guy is an absolute scumbag. To go into a church and accost people like that, families, like that image I saw of a dad comforting his like young son who is upset at their church being stormed by these maniacs. I was like, there's the only solution. You got to have handcuffs on these people fast. Thank you to the Justice Department, Krysten Sinema, everybody involved in this. We're seeing handcuffs put on these people fast. Thank God.
Yeah, and it's also, look, I mean, I know there's a lot of black-pilled people out there who are watching the Somali fraud, who are watching all this stuff, and like it seems to be a process story about a protest rather than holding people accountable for actual crimes. I mean, this is relatively quick justice in a lot of different ways. I mean, hats off, again, Department of Justice, Kristi Noem and the Homeland Security Department, they made moves here. One disappointment, and it hangs around a Minnesota federal magistrate judge. We don't know much about this person, but I can only imagine. Graphic 2B. This is from Jennifer Jacobs, who tweeted out, Scoop, Minnesota federal magistrate judge refused to sign a complaint bringing charges against Don Lemon in connection with the church protest on Sunday, sources tell CBS. So it seems like our whole question of the day on Tuesday, which is like what should happen to Don Lemon, has been answered by a magistrate judge in Minnesota, at least temporarily, that they feel like they can't charge the guy.
This is such a problem. This is a huge problem. We've talked about activist judges, but this is a whole other level where you have on camera, obvious to everybody, that crimes are being committed, and Minnesota has become so deeply corrupt and broken that the people in charge of law, it's like a joke. It's like from 1984. The people in charge of law enforcement are making sure criminals are allowed to get away. It's unbelievable. Americans should be outraged. There needs to be action taken that's far and above, well, maybe we just got to vote harder, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with any of that. And in fact, I think in this particular case, you're entirely correct. The one thing that occurred to me after we did our Tuesday episode was, look, we all know that Don Lemon is not a journalist, right? He's an activist. He had a journalism job for a while, and people tried to pretend like he was one. And then he shows up after he gets fired from that, and he just becomes a full-blown activist. But he still has a camera and a microphone. And so, like, you know, I guess journalisming is being done. I would argue that this, because of the tape that we saw before when we played on Tuesday about him, like, actively corroborating with these people who knew what they were planning, disqualifies him from like the act of covering. Like he was a participant in this. And I'll go to the hilt to say that. But it did occur to me at some point that what I worry about a little bit is the right in particular is over-indexing on super quality independent journalism. Like you think about the Nick Shirleys of the world, or all the people that protest the Antifa stuff and all the footage that we get. Like I would say 90% of what we know about what the left is up to is not because of any of the corporate journalism that
They
is
won't
involved.
talk about it.
It's all independent, right? And so, like, I wondered a little bit. I tend to take a longer view of some of this stuff. I wondered whether or not it provides any sort of like liability for our own peeps who are doing real coverage. Like, I could see a Nick Shirley or somebody like that doing that coverage.
And so here's the thing is, I want Republicans to stop being like, boy, let's live in fear of what if the Democrats did this to us? It's time. We've got the House, we've got the Senate, President Trump's in the White House. We've got to make a move because God knows what the left is always going to do if they're in power. They tried locking up President Trump. They tried killing President Trump. They killed Charlie Kirk. These people never worry about, boy, you know what? I'm really worried if this legislative policy is going to be used against us and brought on the foot. They never worry about that. How many conservatives did they lock up? They were sending moms showing up to PTA meetings. They're putting them on terror lists when they had the FBI.
No doubt.
I do not want to be like, I'm worried we might have to worry about some Democrats doing this. When the Democrats have power, dude, they want to put us against the wall. Like, you have to crush injustice. That's the only way it puts it to an end, is when someone learns there's consequences. It's the same thing as training a child. You can't let the kid get away with everything or they'll turn into a maniac. Hence the
Parenting
left.
expert.
Hence,
Learned constitutional expert in parenting.
Exactly. So, the Constitution's not going to jump up and start protecting us from these left-wing maniacs out here killing people.
Yeah, but silver lining of all of this,
It's time to crush them.
I think silver lining, I think, in all of this, and none of this has surprised anybody who listens or watches the Ruthless Variety program, but this has been the fraudulent playbook of the left for a generation.
Yep.
This collusion between the activist base and the left-wing media to create. I mean, Al Sharpton was a pioneer in this.
Yeah.
It's like you draw the charge on something, you put your face on camera, and you make it a national news thing. This is how they distract people from things like fraud and crime and make it an issue apart from itself. When the reality is the people like Don Lemon and others are entirely in collusion with those same people to do crime.
Yep.
Right? And hopefully through this process of Nikema, the woman who thankfully tagged all of her co-conspirators in a Facebook post.
Hilariously.
Fucking genius. Through the process of discovery and all of that, we find out exactly what his collusion looked like. It won't be a surprise to any of us, but it'll destroy his entire credibility in the whole thing. And that is a silver lining.
Yeah. Nikema, not a terrific criminal.
No.
I mean, she listed her co-conspirators.
It's sort of like you
and
know,
then went on CNN.
You know, like those old Bond movies where like the villain would lay out the entire plan.
As they have Bond under a laser beam.
I mean, they do that for us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. So anyway, look, we're going to keep following this stuff because I do think there's a fair amount, not only hilarity and just how dumb these people are, but how the whole justice system has collapsed upon actually prosecuting some of this stuff for the first time in my lifetime. Like, when's the last time George Floyd, all that, nobody was prosecuted? Like, very few anyway. I mean, they burned down the Minneapolis police station. I didn't see anybody go to jail for that. Maybe I missed something, but it certainly wasn't widespread. Mostly peaceful, they said.
Well, that's the problem, and that's why we see it today, is because that didn't happen then.
Yeah, but it seems like it's like we're at least making
There has to be
inroads.
no mercy.
Yeah, I mean, we're making inroads. Anyway, listen, before we get a break, got to remind all of you, again, Philadelphia on January 29, 6 p.m., the Ruthless Variety program is doing a live show. We don't do a ton of these days. We got a pretty busy schedule, so we try to be selective about where we do it. But this is going to be a big one because it's our first real celebration of America 250, something that we're going to do for all 12 months. And I know the administration and a whole bunch of folks around the country are going to be celebrating 250 as best they possibly can. This is the best way that we can think to kick it off. When you go to a250philly.com/ruthless, you can get a ticket. It's entirely free. You can see Ruthless for free.
And you get food and drink. Like this is the best
you
gig.
You get food and drink.
Yeah. And did we happen to get like a DeNick's roast pork sandwich in my rider for this?
Oh, that's good. I would like a cheesesteak.
You're more of a cheesesteak guy.
Yeah.
I like the roast pork with the broccoli rabe.
I'm gonna start putting
It's pretty good.
If you want to just make a list and send it over,
I think Duncan's right.
We should clear that up.
You know, our buddy Guy Benson is going to be there, and I think the fact that Guy will be there calls for a game of hard pivot.
Ooh.
Because that guy is the reigning champ on that one.
He's pretty good at it.
That is pretty good. All right. So you got to go to a250philly.com/ruthless to get your ticket. The venue location, which is downtown Philadelphia, will be provided after you sign up. This is in partnership with our friends at Americans for Prosperity. Go check it out. We hope to see all of you in Philadelphia on January 29 at 6 p.m. When we come back, a salacious and shocking new detail is emerging from a former senator, one of our favorites, frankly, for a variety of reasons. She takes on all comers, as they say.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Krysten Sinema has run into a little bit of a divorce proceeding, not of her own making, but...
no, it was of her own making.
Well,
allegedly.
Allegedly, but, well, caught up. It's not her divorce.
No.
Anyway, we got the details right after this.
Energy is all around us. It's how we move, how we build, and how we make every day a little easier. We're all around. America's oil and natural gas, supporting 11 million good-paying American jobs across the country and powering our way of life. But energy demand is growing and fast. That's why we need to overhaul our broken permitting process to unleash America's abundant natural resources, strengthen national security, and create a future where American energy leads the world. What America builds today will help secure a more affordable, more reliable future with enough energy to go around for generations to come. Our country can't wait. We must pass permitting reform now to help secure American energy dominance. Because when America builds, America wins. America's oil and natural gas. Paid for by the American Petroleum Institute.
Okay, so you may have heard the news about former Senator Krysten Sinema, who, again, one of our favorites here at the Ruthless Variety program in terms of Democrats. You know, you don't have a lot of people to partner up with, shall we say. But she's one that held the line on a lot of the craziest shit the Democrats were trying to do. Made for a decent senator when it was all said and done. She had a all-encompassing approach to both of her job and her sexuality.
Oh, my God.
And according to the New York Times, she's found herself, former Senator Krysten Sinema, accused of an affair with a former member of her security team. Interesting, right? I mean, she's not a member of Congress anymore, so it's, you know, like, I guess that's interesting. Now it gets a lot more interesting, particularly when you know a little bit about Krysten Sinema. Let's reintroduce you a little bit. Graphic 3. So that's her at the State of the Union.
It's like exhibit for the court. There's a fluffy yellow dress.
Yeah.
For listeners.
An understated number that she wore to a State of the Union.
She looks like a peep. Skin tight.
Peep she did, my man. Peep she did. Graphic 3A. There she is.
That's a bit much for the Senate.
Do you think?
It's a little bit much.
I don't. I honestly don't. I think that the New York Times is writing a hit piece on Krysten Sinema.
I think he's
vote
right.
The way they wanted her to vote every single time.
So two things can be true.
This is a message to Democrats. If you don't vote how we want, and the New York Times is the ultimate arbiter of what's right and wrong for Democrats.
It's true.
If you don't vote how we want, we're going to write against
I think Ashbrook's right. I think the motive is that she was like, a centrist who would vote with Republicans. And that pisses off the New York Times, which is why they were willing to run this hit piece. Can I get that like aluminum foil dress again?
Just pop that.
That's still a bit much though. And so like, you know, I think Paul Ryan didn't know what he was doing when he like allowed this rule when he was speaker of like women can have bare shoulders when they're in the Capitol, and that was like the floodgates opened, where they're like, there's
Wait, you're
no
blaming
laws.
Paul Ryan for that?
So he allowed them to have like bare shoulders, and it's like, okay, now it's going to be just like an insano, like it's a free for all at this point.
I didn't
now
even know about
You've got Silver
What?
Surfer rolling up. No, because I was the only one who was holding the line. Many conservatives were like, why not let women have bare shoulders? And I was like, you don't know what you're asking.
We're going to get so many letters on this.
I can't
When
wait.
you let him run amok, because he probably didn't see this would happen. I knew. You can't let him go crazy because now you got that.
Well, if you recall, her career started in the House of Representatives under a Paul Ryan leadership, but she was heralded as a champion of the left. She had come from the Code Pink
anti-war left,
right? The activists of the activist left. I think Jay Moore at the New York Times wrote a lot about her troubled upbringing and everything else that sort of brought that whole thing to light a little bit when she ran for Senate in the first place. But then she gets to the Senate, and everybody expects immediately the LGBTQ, every consonant afterward alliance was like, this is our new champion. She's the first outwardly bisexual senator of all time. Like, she is the left's goddess, basically. Attractive, wore some skimpy stuff, and then, like, you know, let your imagination roll a little bit. So they were like, sure, we love her. Well, they started not loving her very quickly when it turns out she had an element of principle to her voting record. And she saw a whole bunch of things that Chuck Schumer and the Democratic left were trying to do in the United States Senate and voted against them. You can think of like the whole Biden BBB thing. Like they wanted it as bad as the whole Joe Manchin version of all of that. Their initial version of it was like 10 times worse. That she and Joe Manchin like single-handedly stopped because they didn't have the votes to do it, so they turned on her.
Is that the one that like, folks, you may remember this? She showed up in like a schoolgirl outfit and then hit him with the thumbs down on the Senate floor. Do you remember that one? Was that the vote?
Yeah.
Because that made the lefties really lose it.
Well, she walked up to McConnell, gave him a wink, and then hip.
Because she did it with like a flair. She like did a little dance thing with the thumbs down.
No, they
like she was
hated it.
spiking the football, and she did it like in front of all the Dems,
Just
like in the
stunting
very
on them.
Yeah, and they
were never the same.
They went nuts, and so they refused to sort of outwardly endorse her for re-election. Once was a champion of the left. As soon as she votes against one of the two of the socialist items that they had in front of them, including the elimination of the filibuster, gonzo.
Do you guys want to know what the New York Times wrote about her before she started voting against what they wanted?
Oh, yeah, what?
Krysten Sinema's style keeps us guessing. Sometimes a dress is just a dress.
Leaves us all guessing.
Sometimes it's
a lot of
strategy.
guesswork. Oh, a strategy. It does seem like a strategy.
They always write it up.
Can I
when
say
they're like,
something controversial but brave?
Oh,
Yes,
jeez, yeah.
please do.
I don't think being bisexual is real.
This is a good take.
Interesting. Okay.
Let's hear this argument.
Go on. Let's get canceled. Go ahead.
I'm not trying to be canceled. I just think you got to choose. Choose one. Be gay, be straight.
You can't just welcome all comers.
I think it's
My
just
God.
people who like attention.
I think he's right.
Really?
I think he's right.
You can't just embrace.
It's an attention thing.
I would love to embrace it, but like I feel like it's just the attention.
You feel like it's not a thing.
I think you just got to choose at
Really?
some point.
But he just said he'd
Are
love to
you
embrace
gay?
it. Did you
Are
hear
you
that?
straight?
I did hear that. Well, he would love to, but he, unfortunately his conscience doesn't allow it.
I just don't. I mean, let's get to the rest of the thing.
I mean,
Let's get to the rest of the
okay, I
thing.
said too much.
No, I haven't said too much. But here, look, I'm just saying. At the end of the day, she picked a man.
That's the thing.
But we don't know all of the details. We know
Is she married to a woman? Or
No.
is she married?
No.
She's never been married?
Well, I don't know if she's never been married. She may have. Well, I don't have all the detail.
That's
but I do
wild.
know what we do have a indication on this particular scandal is not of her own making. It is of her security guard who's going through, unfortunately, a very painful divorce that is now all public as a result of the former Senator Krysten Sinema. So in the New York Times, They say the former Senator Krysten Sinema of Arizona, Democrat turned independent, who served one term before leaving office last year, was accused in federal court this week of conducting an affair with a member of her security team
in the Senate.
A married father of 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, and a complaint filed in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Your home state.
Yeah, you can't allow that kind of thing.
Well, they're just affording
Father
justice
of
down
3?
there. How dare they?
Yeah.
It's just it's discrimination.
Sinema should be held accountable. That's a bit much.
No, I feel like it's discrimination.
He's just doing his job.
She didn't vote.
She's wearing aluminum foil dresses.
All you libs down in North Carolina,
it's unbelievable.
Trying to hold her
I think
accountable.
we're gonna lock her up. We should lock her up.
The ex-wife of Matthew Amel, who worked for Miss Sinema's staff for 2 years, accused the former senator of seducing him and breaking up their marriage.
So,
I get it
I mean,
little bit.
He's a father of 3. The senator did this to him is horrible.
Did this to him. That's funny. That's way more offensive than me saying bisexuality's not real.
No.
This man is a
victim. They had a happy marriage.
I don't think there's any victims in this.
This man is a victim.
He was forced to do this. He's forced to spend time with her. It's like his job.
Perhaps his job was at stake, Smug.
That's the thing, is like the dynamic of power here.
Yeah, well, she accused...
That's the truth.
She accused the former senator of seducing him and breaking up their marriage.
Yep.
Heather Amel claimed in a suit that Miss Sinema sent Mr. Amel sexually suggestive photographs.
See? See?
There were rumors afoot about these.
Were there?
Oh, yeah. While she was on Capitol Hill, there were things. Unbelievably, never got to a point
I
where
have
they
a
were
wild idea. How about senators just do their job? That's a crazy radical idea. They're out here texting people nudes. Like,
oh, wow.
Why don't you just work for the American people, bro?
Skin tight dresses on national television. She's attention seeking. You're telling me for the first time. Like, am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Am I wrong?
No. She sent these photographs on Signal, encrypted.
Oh.
So it's obvious.
She's done it deliberate.
Yeah, she done it deliberate. Encrypted messaging app. Chose him to accompany her on trips to Napa Valley into the Sphere, an events venue in Las Vegas. Paid for him to enter psychedelic treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder and other issues. Encouraged him to bring drugs on work trips so she could guide him through a psychedelic trip.
She's grooming him. This is 100% her doing this, not just to him, but to those 3 kids and his wife.
Okay. Sounds to me like she was trying to help.
If, according to what is being said here.
Yeah.
You know,
if what's being
God
said
forbid
here is
she shows a little bit of compassion for someone.
Is she a trained medical professional?
Maybe. You don't know. You don't know. She could have all kinds of cures. Anyway, she showered him with gifts and concert tickets and eventually entered into a sexual relationship with him that caused him to leave his family. Miss Amel seeking, this is where I laughed my ass off on this, because the New York Times, right? Like massive story, all this stuff, and like it was the talk of the town for a week. She's seeking $25,000.
You got to ask for a lot more, lady. You got to ask
she
for
missed a couple of zeros on that bad boy. She wants $25,000 from Sinema. And why did Sinema not just fork it over?
Yeah.
You know? Like, why go through all this? She's like, I want that. Maybe she wants the attention. You know? I don't know.
My God.
Well, with $25,000, you'd feel like you'd settled something like that. She's not a person without means. She's United States Senator, for crying out loud. Anyway.
I think she's probably thinking to herself, this makes me sound cool as hell.
Yeah.
And what a horrible thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Isn't that a horrible thing? Breaking up a family like that?
Yeah.
That's a horrible thing.
Oh, it's terrible.
It is.
What is the Bill Hader?
Yeah. It's terrible.
Oh,
the thing is that
that's terrible.
And the worst part is that, like, the focus of the story isn't on how this dude is the victim of this. Like, imagine being assigned to a job,
somebody must speak
and then
up.
your boss is giving, allegedly, everything I'm saying is allegedly, okay? Imagine being assigned to a job where you have to be there no matter what, because your job is to be next to this person who's trying to give you drugs, trying to get you to cheat, making you take drugs, and being like, I'm going to join you on this psychedelic trip to Las Vegas. And you have to do it. You have to do it.
You do?
It's
Do you
his
have
job.
to bring MDMA?
It's his job. She's forcing him to do these allegedly horrible things. You know, and the guy's got 3 young kids at home.
Well,
he's
whatever
like,
the case may be.
He's just trying to make a living for these kids, and this is what she does to him.
The allegation includes my absolute favorite of all the judicial lexicon vocabulary words. There are many, you know, and you talk courts and justice. There's all kinds of stuff you don't say in normal life. But this one's my absolute favorite. What she's accusing her of is willful and wanton conduct. Wanton.
Jezebel.
That means fucking bad. Wanton means like, that's tough. Tough stuff. You can do the conduct, but if it's wanton conduct, you know you're just off the deep end with that. Anyway, after retiring from the Army, he joined her security staff and all of that. And the suit stated he soon found himself traveling with Miss Sinema on trips, including one to Napa Valley and one to see U2. That was at the Sphere, the one that we talked about.
Sick.
She also took him as a guest to the Taylor Swift concert. She has great ticks, by the way. I mean, those are tough venues to get at. U2 at the Sphere and Taylor Swift. Like, for those of you who try to get into it, you know how difficult it was to get into that. Well, she took him along. I think a gesture of goodwill. Anyway, Miss Hamill claimed that on March 2024 event in Phoenix, that's, of course, where she represented in Arizona, Miss Sinema got handsy, quote unquote, with Mr. Hamill.
And this is key.
Who later confessed that he did not know how to extricate himself from the situation without offending his boss.
Yep.
Well, of course, he confessed all of that. He's getting divorced, and it's now public.
Like the thing is that for a lot of
I didn't know how to do it.
That's the thing is for like a lot of guys, you're like, you know, people in the public are going to attack you and make fun of you when you try to do the right thing. You know, they're like, oh wow, you're so soft, you couldn't get away from this little woman, and it's like, bro. He works for her. He has to be there. He's literally the bodyguard. He's got to be near the body.
So what we're doing right here is like a second-hand assault.
I think this guy's the power dynamic is out of control. Like, he's just trying to do a job. He's got kids at home. He's trying to make a living for him. And now this lady's getting handsy with him, taking him to concerts and giving him drugs, allegedly. This is wild. I feel so bad for this dude.
This is like, Smug is doing like a reverse Me Too.
It's very funny.
But that's the thing is like, it's not a reverse. He's the victim.
What could he say?
Yeah.
That's the thing is
well,
like,
he couldn't possibly do anything.
It's like, you know, for so long, how women have been like, every guy's a predator. You know, every dude is trash. All men are trash. And we've told boys in this country that like, you're a predator. You're a bad guy. You know, when they're in grade school.
Yeah.
And
the
look,
next thing you know,
meanwhile, this is what's actually been happening.
Well, you got to check
you got
with
women on power trips running amok, breaking up families willy-nilly.
Rolls up in a tinfoil dress, and next thing you know, you
time
got
to go to Taylor Swift and take some drugs.
Let's take drugs.
Look, just to iron in my point from earlier, Taylor Swift concert, U2 concert, wasn't Indigo Girls. You know, wasn't Lady Gaga.
Dude,
I see what you're doing.
This is good investigative work.
I do what you're. I see
Pick
what
a
you're
lane.
doing.
Pick a lane. Be gay. Be straight.
Well, maybe it's like
I think bisexual sometimes
Wasn't
people just
Indigo Girls.
like
maybe,
attention.
or maybe it's like a Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday rotation. You don't know.
Have you ever heard the Dave Chappelle bit about the LGBT stuff and they're all in the car
and who's
together?
driving and all that?
Yeah.
So that's okay.
But
it's a derivation of
Well, the
that.
bees, you know, they get all the attention.
They do. Well, I mean, for obvious reasons, they take on the rest of the car. Anyway, Amel claimed that ultimately she discovered a romantic and lascivious relationship in messages that Miss Sinema was sending to Mr. Amel. One message including a picture of Miss Sinema wearing nothing but a towel, the suit claimed, which I feel like if we're going to do this in public, when we still were dealing with a towel, I just felt a little let down by that. Like,
It's inappropriate for this woman to do this to her employee. And he's got a young family at home.
I'm just saying, if you're going to send a pic, send a pic.
I will
She's
tell
a senator
you.
for crying.
I will tell you.
Be a senator.
Just for,
We know senators.
Where's the leadership?
for the record, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but for the record, even the New York Times raised questions about her background and how truthful her stories may have been.
This was the J Mart thing.
Yes, at the time when she first ran for Senate.
Yeah.
Even the New York Times.
Wait, that this was the thing?
No,
well, they
no,
didn't
no,
know how much of the LGBTQ thing was like a thing.
And she had these long stories that she was
I thought the way that she's like filibustering this dude with a towel.
Well,
I was like, this is a known thing.
You know,
she
she's
just likes the attention.
She's a real supporter of the filibust. Has been. Like, just critical. Kind of a bedrock. Anyway, Miss also encouraged him to bring MDMA. And that's where this thing kind of takes a little bit of a darker turn. She said that she could help guide him through a psychedelic experience. According to the suit, the two also exchanged messages discussing missionary style sex, which Miss Sinema deemed to be boring.
She's sending these kind of messages to her employee. He's just trying to live. He's just trying to live. And then the poor wife who has to discover this stuff. I mean, if all of this is true, how are you only asking for $25,000?
I will. Yeah.
You gotta go for everything, lady.
I will also say to your.
I mean,
to your
this
point
poor
about
guy's
him,
probably losing his house. You might as well just go for broke, lady. Snatch it all up.
So this is the portion where I actually think that you have merit in your argument, Smug. Like, not up until now did I see him as a victim, but if they're exchanging messages and what he is proffering on a sexting deal is missionary style sex, with Sinema, he hoped that was going to do the trick, I guess.
Yeah. What exactly was she guiding him through?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder.
He seems a little innocent. He's like, oh, I'd love to do the missionary sex thing. And she's like, boring. Bring the drugs.
Bring the drugs. I'll guide you.
Anyway,
That's a wonderful take.
Told his wife he wanted a divorce. So he initiated all of this, but struggling to admit he was engaged in an affair, according to the suit. In 2024, Ms. Sinema announced that she would not seek re-election. Since then, Sinema has been involved in psychedelic science industry. She's an expert in the field.
Oh, okay.
And discussed undergoing ibogaine treatment with the aim of preventing dementia. I don't know what that has anything to do with it, but the New York Times threw that in at the end to suggest that perhaps she has some kind of
experience with them. Man, the Times is mad. They will not forgive her.
Yeah, they're coming back. They're like, and she's a little too interested.
Not as mad as our
damage.
wives for this segment.
Boring. I love that. That's my favorite. Actually, Smug, the New York Times turned me around to your position.
I had the right take.
Amel
Stood
was
with a young family.
Amel was a babe in the woods. And look what happened. Old Krysten Sinema. Anyway, leads us to our question of the day. When you like and subscribe to the Ruthless Variety program, we read all of your answers. I suspect you're going to have a lot of responses to this particular one, which is, which politician seems like the most fun to party with? Think about it.
That's a good question.
Open your mind to that. It's not like, oh, this guy's fun to have, use all the inputs that you can think of and come up with an answer to all of that. And while you do, take a Z-Biotics, because if you're like us, when you discuss this sort of things, you're going to need a cocktail. And when you do, you have a Z-Biotics beforehand, because it is a scientific fact that these things help out an awful lot, don't they, Smug?
They do. So for folks, if you have not heard before, Z-Biotics is what you're supposed to drink before you have your drink, before you have a night out, before you go have a night on the town, before you have some fun. You have a Z-Biotics, because if you have a Z-Biotics before you begin drinking, your next morning's going to be great, because it's not dehydration, which causes you to feel terrible the next day. It's actually these chemicals that are broken down from when your gut is breaking down the alcohol. Well, Z-Biotics knocks all that right out.
Yeah, and it's developed by PhD scientists.
It is.
So you can trust the science.
It's real science.
Well, and if you don't trust the science, you can trust us, who are avid users.
I had my absolute first recrimination on the Z-Biotics front.
Oh.
But I have to contextualize it. Somebody was like, I'm not sure about the Z-Biotics. Like, I can barely get out of bed. I personally witnessed firsthand this person drinking 1.5 gallons of bourbon. I was like, it's not fucking magic. You gotta have a little self-control over some of it.
Maybe in the hospital they told you should have stopped.
So if you go to zbiotics.com/ruthless to learn more, you get 15% off your first order when you use Ruthless at the checkout. Z-Biotics is backed by a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason at all, they refund your money. No questions asked. Go to zbiotics.com/ruthless and use the code RUTHLESS at the checkout for 15% off. All right, you guys ready for the last question of the day?
That's right.
So on Thursday, we talked a lot about the Democratic dynamic. of presenting voters with one situation and doing something entirely different.
Running as a moderate and then governing as a left-wing lunatic.
A lunatic. And so the question of the day is, what's the best way to help voters understand that there's no such thing as a moderate Democrat? Something that I think, and I think collectively we all think, is the key to midterm success here in a lot of ways. To do that, we always start with a voice.
Friend, before I get to comment number one, can I ask you to turn my headphones down just a little bit, because I think you may have bumped the button and now I can't hear
I got so excited by that last segment that I think my leg may have inadvertently hit.
Oh, your leg?
Okay. Comment number one. Comment number one.
Oh, that old thing.
Okay.
Apologies.
First one's from Eric Dinkazi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Eric writes, as much as I would like to come up with a pithy and humorous response, what this comes down to is countering the message of the Dems and the MSM. They're continuing to flood the zone with misinformation and outright lies. Republicans have to grow a backbone and shout out the truth of all the good that is being accomplished. Also, continuously pointing out the actual actions of the left as opposed to their rhetoric.
Thank you, Eric.
Perfect.
That is exactly right. I totally agree with all of that. Really, really well said. All right, Dunks Runks.
Comment 2, this is from Nancy. Nancy writes, this one is nearly impossible. Showing my reasonable lib friends and family members examples goes nowhere because they don't trust my source. Fox News, conservative websites, etc. And their sources continually lie or cover for the Dems.
That's right.
They are going to have to experience it personally at this point. I think it's rich that a constant complaint has always been about Trump's, quote, mean tweets and how he has coarsened the culture. But are they not bothered by the behavior of the lunatic lefties screaming profanities, even in a church?
That's it.
Oh,
That's
Nancy.
it.
God, bless our listeners are the best.
Very right. Very right. I would say, like, one thing we had going for us in 2024 is Kamala Harris ran for president in 2020. So even if the media was in this full-on cover-up of who she was, remember Brat Summer and all of that sort of stuff, we still had her on camera, many instances to camera, answering questions and giving the most far left-wing gobbledygook you could imagine. And so, you know, sometimes it can be tough, especially when you get to a congressional race or like some of these local races, of like having that video
permeating the information
But
flow.
whenever, I just give this as advice to people, like if you're talking to a lib, family member or friend, if you can ever primary source this out of the mouth of the Democrat, do that. You know, because they want to use a Fox News or whoever to just dismiss the allegation. But if you can show them the video proof, that's a whole nother thing, as we learned in 2024.
Very well said, Michael. A professional through and through.
I try.
Smuggles?
Comment 3 is from Young at Heart, and Young at Heart writes, make an RNC campaign on, quote, no such thing as a moderate Democrat. T-shirts, hats, coffee cups, etc. Make them, any Democrat, explain how they think they are moderate. Then hit them with the truth. Gets the conversation started. I love that.
I love
Great
that.
stuff.
There is
dude.
no such thing as a moderate Democrat. That's it.
We
That's
need to do some
That's
merch.
the line.
Can you get your hands ready?
Let's do
Get
it.
those thing. Get the thimbles out.
I just don't want to get carpal tunnel.
Well, sorry, I
price.
just want to save the country.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we appreciate the country and everything. Maybe more than your fingertips.
Okay. Not as much as Donald Trump, because I'm hearing that Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and some media reports recently said that Donald Trump is going to treat this midterm like he's on the ballot in 2024.
Yes.
So he's
Attaboy.
going to be out there, and hopefully he's on a lot of these messages, because I think that's the sort of like united front we need in order to get a lot of these messages out there to the electorate.
100%.
right.
Tune in Tuesday, because I think we're going to put a finer point on all of that and get you ready for what is going to be an incredible election year in a lot of different ways. But when we come back, we're going to get to some variety. We got a lot to choose from. You're going to love every second of it right after this. Okay, fellas, you ready for a little variety?
Always.
So, like, one of the things that we are amused by the most is people who are sort of politically tangential. Like, they've built followings over a moment in time. They know nothing, but they have to post content because that's like either the way they make a living or it's like their relevance. And One showed up. I think, Duncan, you may have flagged this initially.
Well, it's a misuse of the internet.
It's a misuse of the internet. And Lynn Wood, you may recall Lynn Wood. He's a very famous, very successful attorney back in his day. But in the 2020 context, of course, he was I would say, not maybe the chief, but one of the chief individuals most responsible for invalidating the claims that Trump made about the election circumstances, right? Everybody had reason to believe that there were a whole bunch of anomalies that happened, but the claims that this guy made were so bad that ultimately his message to voters in a Georgia runoff in 2020 was don't vote because it won't count anyway. And he had a huge following at that point. And of course, Republican voters, it didn't vote. And they lost 2 Senate seats. And the next thing we know, we get socialism on our doorstep for the next 4 years as a result of it. So this guy's like not my favorite. But he showed up this week in a hilarious deal. Dunks, you want to set the table on that?
Yeah, he posted on Twitter, well, I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, but like an AI thirst trap. Can we put that graphic up?
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Wow. Wait, this is what you're bringing?
You sure it was the misuse of the internet that caught your eye there?
Well, I saw
first thing you observed.
Well, helpfully, our production team has cropped out, but he posted this on X, a screenshot from Instagram with like his full screen, so like
with his battery level and all that.
Yeah, it's like in addition to posting it on X, he like it was clearly not an on purpose tweet, like he was saving the photo or something. Who knows?
Oh man!
Who knows? But like this is an account, and I hope this is a public service announcement to we've talked about this with people being tricked by AI, particularly older people.
Yeah.
I have no doubt. I mean, we don't know for sure that he thinks that this is a real photo, but this is just one of those AI political accounts that just puts a very busty broad in photos with people in the MAGA movement.
Right. People who are noticeable, recognizable.
Engagement farming, both on recognizable people and busty broads.
Busty broads. So in this case, he has the press secretary for the White House of the United States of America standing next to an AI-generated, shall we say, well-equipped AI.
Can I say my theory on this that I have no ground whatsoever?
Perfect. Like most of your theories.
That's exactly. No, this is exactly. It stays.
My theory is he owns that Instagram account. What's it called? Like it's like Patriot 1776 or something like that.
Yeah.
That post.
Blonde Patriot.
Yeah.
77.
Oh, he set it up as a bit.
That's I bet for just
a click machine?
monetizing. As a click machine, because I went through his history and he's posted a bunch of photos.
With that AI
account, with that AI generated, like large chested woman, like you said, with a bunch of.
I feel like Occam's razor here. Maybe he's just horny.
You know what? That's but that's an interesting theory.
Because he didn't post a link to the Instagram. It was just a screenshot.
Just that.
But he's doing it repeatedly, and he's forming engagement off of it. And the best is like. So there's people arguing. They're like,
you think
Grok,
this is 3D
real?
chess? That is hilarious.
So people are replying to that like, Grok, is this real? And then they're like, Grok is half the time just crazy.
Yeah.
Like there was the one of that same chesty woman next to Ron DeSantis, and then someone's like, Grok, who's the woman in this photo? The like fake AI lady, and it's like, oh, that's Casey DeSantis, Ron DeSantis' wife. It's like, Grok, what are you talking about? That's not his wife. And he's like, Grok's like, upon further inspection, this seems to be an AI generated woman. And then the reply from that guy's like, you say that about any woman who's got jugs, right? The dude's pissed off. But like Duncan said, I think this is an important thing is you have to discuss this because you should not shame older people who don't know if this is real or not. Like, I'm not trying to put him on the spot, but
that's what he's doing.
Afro constantly doesn't know if anything is real.
That's right. I always wonder whether what Smug tweets was written by him or by AI. Usually it's AI.
No, so like oftentimes he'll text us with some photo and it'll be like a dinosaur on a skateboard. And he's like, guys, is this real? And you can't be mean to him about it because you don't want to shame people for asking that question.
You don't want to intimidate him out of further use of the internet.
Especially for older people because, I mean, look, he's an older guy, and he might not be as sharp as he used to be, but you don't want to be mean to people like that and shame them into, like, making them feel bad for asking a question. You know, especially if they're your friend.
Very thoughtful.
So like that's a lesson. That's a takeaway from this is like if there's an older person who doesn't know if something's real or not, don't be mean to them about it, but
Smart
just like
take.
try to help them out.
Simply inform them.
Yeah, smart
There's a
take.
lot out there, and you never know.
Yeah.
Okay, you never know. It's always best to investigate.
Yeah.
I love Grok. Is this real?
That's
everything.
Ashbrook always.
You got to know.
It's like a skateboarding raptor. He's like, guys,
You
this is
gotta know.
crazy.
You can make
we
fun.
brought them back and they skateboard.
You can make fun, but thank God that Elon Musk invented Grok, and that's the only way that you can know what Smug is tweeting, whether it's AI or whether it's something that he actually wrote. If Elon hadn't invented Grok, if Elon hadn't invented Twitter, we would have no Smug.
Yeah.
It was a great invention.
It's a great invention. Okay, moving on. Now that we've offended everyone over the age of 65. So we've been a big whale podcast.
Yeah.
Talked a lot about Ashbrook.
Renewable resource.
Yeah, Ashbrook has talked a lot about the best way to take out a whale.
We all know. Plug the blowhole.
That's exactly right. You got to plug the blowhole. That's how you get it done. Well, a couple of guys, I don't know if they plugged the blowhole or they stumbled upon somebody who had previously plugged the blowhole, but either way, the whale didn't make it. It's an interesting clip. Clip 4. These are two cats on a fishing boat.
Whoa.
Who are boarding a dead whale that's floating in the ocean.
This is so cool.
And they're getting on the whale.
This
And
is so awesome.
They're taking pictures on top of the dead whale. And look, they kind of drive away on the boat a little bit.
This is such a tremendous
push
win. Like, talk about having a good time with the fellas. You're on a fishing trip and then you got the dead whale boat.
You're like, let's get on that thing. Yeah, so they're riding a whale. Which, you know, look, I don't know if you guys are followers of this kind of thing, but it's just somewhat of a dangerous situation.
Very dangerous because
It's not dangerous. It's not dangerous.
No, it's very dangerous because once you get beyond the rigor mortis of the situation, necrosis starts to and
it'll only
stuff
blow up if it's
deteriorates.
on land.
No,
In the
it's
water,
not
they
the
don't
blowing
blow
up.
up.
It's like maybe if you put your full body weight on it, you might sink right into that whale.
No. That's
it's
not
a
true.
carcass.
And if you do, it can blow up.
Yeah.
These things are like they're like floating A-bombs.
This is all the environmentalist nonsense.
Have you not seen
They're gonna
Backtrack?
tell you-
Environmentalist nonsense.
It's not true. So here's what you got to do: is number one,
just like global warming.
after you take your photo with your buddy, I would jump on that thing alone with like get your rod and stick a hook in that thing.
Yeah.
So no one can ever try showing you a photo of being like, oh, look at this marlin I caught. Be like, oh yeah.
You're like, oh
you
man,
mean
I got like a
stick a hook in-
40-ton whale here, amigo.
Stick a
Like,
hook in the mouth like you caught it?
You want to talk about your little marlin?
like
Congrats.
you're full, like just reeled
Friend.
in Moby Dick on a
You know?
walleye rod.
Yeah, you gotta have the camera in panoramic mode for something like that.
But you caught 100-pound fish, dude. This is measured in tons.
Yeah, but you think like I couldn't tell whether the texture was a spongy, like a trampoline like.
Jump on the thing?
Yeah, but then it can get dangerous.
Nah, it's safe, 100%.
I think it could explode.
Yeah, but if you get inside, you get to harvest that sweet, sweet ambergris.
You fuel a nation.
Yeah.
You could. It's a renewable resource, as we all know. And it would be an IGFA all-tackle world record.
Look at that.
Without
All tackle.
Without a doubt.
Stick the walleye hook. Get a jig in the eye of that thing.
But, you know, they should have towed it back with them. And
That's
they
right.
should have stuffed it. And they should have put it under plexiglass and in their front yard so everybody could see the trophy they had.
What do you think it costs to stuff a blue whale?
I bet that's hundreds.
That's
of
not a blue
thousands.
whale.
Okay,
That's not a blue
whatever.
whale. It's a
Well,
whale.
What kind of whale? I mean,
It's a whale.
Is it a sperm whale?
So in New York, in the
Deer
Natural
trained
Science
eye?
Museum, they have a whale up there. So it's doable. This is doable. You could con your local museum into paying for it. You know? I'd be like, the plaque has to say I caught it, but like you guys can have it. Because I mean, who's gonna you can't fit that thing in your yard.
No, you put it in your front yard. It covers your house.
I mean, I don't think
Everybody
anyone's
salutes you.
got a manner like the Ashbrooks. Like, yeah, we're just throwing a whale out on the front lawn.
Front yard.
You know?
Covers the entire house.
The IGCA world record all tackle holder for the sperm whale, comfortably smug. Congratulations, my man.
I mean, what a win for those two.
What a
Not
win.
AI.
What a win. They did a good sense of humor, and we appreciate that here on the Ruthless Variety program. We appreciate you for tuning in all week long. I think we've had a lot of fun, covered a lot of news, a lot of stuff going on this week. So thanks for joining all of us. We've got a HUD Secretary. Oh, boy. You're going to love this because you not only get a little update on a hot topic, which is housing in this country, you'll also get some NFL tips. You're going to want to tune in.
We're very lucky today on the Ruthless podcast to welcome the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Sir, it is so great to be with you. Thanks a lot for being on the show.
Thank you, John. I'm happy to be here, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, you've been on the job for about a year, and my guess is there's been an awful lot of cleanup to be done on messes that Joe Biden and his administration created. I wonder if you could talk through some of what you've seen and cleaned up over the last year.
For sure. Well, let me start in the beginning. When we first came into HUD, our mindset was, let's take inventory of every program that we have at HUD to make sure that, one, we're being mission-minded. Do the programs that we have, do they help us to carry out the mission that we've been called to serve, which is really serving the most vulnerable people in our country as it pertains to housing, homelessness, and disaster recovery. And so as we were taking inventory, very quickly in our tenure, we found there was $1.9 billion of misplaced funds.
Wow.
How do you misplace almost $2 billion? And so we took the appropriate actions and de-obligated those funds and returned them back to the Treasury for discretionary use of the American people. We found $4 million in DEI contracts, and so we ended those contracts immediately. Contracts like mindfulness, that has nothing to do with housing and disaster and homelessness, and so we ended DEI at HUD. When you look at illegal immigration, over 12 million people came across our borders unchecked, unvetted during the Biden administration, and that really put a strain on housing affordability. It put a strain on rental demand. We saw data and a report that said, man, in America today, most of the housing rental demand in our country has gone up because of illegal immigration. In New York and California, 100% of the increase in rental demand is because of illegal immigration. 59%, John, of illegal immigrant families, 59% use one or more of our welfare programs in our country, costing us over $40 billion a year. And so obviously with the President and Secretary Noem and Mr. Holman attacking and securing our border has been of utmost priority, because we know, man, when you have illegal immigration to that status, not only does it squeeze our housing supply and increase costs, but there's a lot of fraud, there's a lot of waste, there's a lot of abuse, as you see now going in Minnesota. That's ground zero.
Yeah.
And for HUD, we found $84 million in improper payments and assistance just in Minnesota alone, and 500 dead people getting housing vouchers, money going to tenants that aren't even living. And so that's a gross misuse of American taxpayer dollars. And our agency finance report, which just came out a couple of weeks ago, about $5 billion in error payments, $5 billion, that's American taxpayer money, going in this country, 200,000 ineligible recipients, including 30,000 dead people. And so you talk about waste and you talk about fraud. This is real. And if you hear me saying nothing about Democrat or Republican, this is taxpayer money. $5 billion of hardworking taxpayer money in waste and fraud and abuse. And so we're being very intentional about uncovering that and holding people accountable that have frauded the American people.
I believe it. I believe it. And you mentioned the case in Minnesota. I know you're getting to the bottom of that. What happens when you find that money, you find that fraud? Is the government able to collect that back? I mean, you mentioned $84 million.
Yes,
does that come back to the taxpayer?
Yes, sir, but that's the goal.
Yeah.
Obviously, once it is secured and known that it is indeed fraud, then we have measures to take to hold people accountable that are frauded them, and we'll use every extent of the law to make sure we do that, and in hopes to claw back that money and put it back to good use for the American people. And so, yes, sir, there are steps that we can take, but indeed, people will be held accountable.
So are you seeing similar situations in other cities besides Minnesota? You mentioned billions of dollars across the country on a macro level, but I mean, in individual cities, are you seeing evidence of similar situations that we're seeing in Minnesota?
Yes, sir. So we did launch an investigation in Minnesota. We have boots on the ground there, about $150 million there used in housing assistance. And so we have people there to make sure that those monies are being used appropriately, because again, it's stewardship of American taxpayer dollars. Also in Boston, we launched a secretarial investigation in Boston because Boston was criminalizing, if you will, or weaponizing the Fair Housing Act. They made it known that in every level of government in their city, that they would use racial equity to preference and prioritize people of color, indigenous people, when it comes to housing, when it comes to receiving loans from lenders. That is literally a violation of the Fair Housing Act, of which I, myself, HUD, our job is to uphold and enforce the Fair Housing Act. And that's just 2 cities that I'm bringing so far.
Yeah.
But I believe there's more.
Yeah, well, you mentioned housing and how expensive it is. And in the case of Boston, you know, in some cities, it's just way through the roof. I mean, it's unachievable for some families, and they're looking for relief. And I know that you and the president have been talking about a few things that you can do, like the 50-year mortgage, like maybe dipping into a 401ks, or maybe, you know, stopping some of these institutional investors from buying up large tracts of single-family homes.
Right.
I wonder what of that stuff can you do administratively, and how much do you need Congress to step up and do their part here too?
That's a good question. Well, as you said, there's a myriad of ideas that are going on, and this is of utmost priority for the president, as you know. It's utmost priority for myself, for other leaders in the administration. We have meetings, we talk about it, and you know, we're about execution, and you've alluded to some of the announcements that the president has made as it pertains to institutional investors. From our standpoint, taking down burdensome regulations from the federal level, restoring local control back to localities so that they too can unleash innovativeness and building in their said cities. Regulatory environment is a huge issue when it comes to housing affordability and home building and development. And obviously that's a local, more so a local issue. And so for myself, I've been firmly encouraging localities to take a look at their regulatory environment so that we can build more homes. We need about 7 million housing units in our country. Single family, multifamily, manufactured housing plays a big role here. About 22 million Americans live in manufactured housing. And I'm also excited about opportunity zones. Because opportunity zones give us that platform and give us the ability to build affordable housing in our country. The last Trump administration, you know, my job was to lead the Opportunity Zone Initiative, and there was about $90 billion of private money invested in opportunity zones. About 300,000 new housing units came online, and those mostly were homeowners where their values inside of opportunity zones were rising. And as you know now, opportunity zones have been made permanent, so that's another tool in our toolbox as it pertains to housing affordability.
So do you think any of those reforms could get done this calendar year?
Yes, sir. Well, obviously, opportunity zones are a part of the One Big Beautiful Bill. So those are now in statute, and they have been made permanent. Every 10 years, governors will choose new census tracts to be certified by the Treasury to become new opportunity zones. So that's already done. Obviously, in these other issues, you oftentimes need legislative help. But again, the president is the master of negotiating, you know, with Congress and others. And so we'll see in the days ahead, you know, the progress of that. But yes, I do think that we can get it done. But we have to have everybody working together.
Well, speaking of everybody working together, you are serving in a cabinet with a bunch of guys who like to prove their athletic prowess. I mean, RFK is doing pull-ups to show that he could be an athlete too. Nobody sees you doing pull-ups because everybody already knows there's one man serving in this cabinet who is a real athlete and who could probably beat them all in a race, probably do more push-ups and more pull-ups than any of them, and he doesn't need to prove it because they all know. They all know. And that's because you have a history and a track record proving your athletic prowess. You were in the NFL for 9 years, accomplished track athlete in college, accomplished football player in college. And, you know, Super Bowl is right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
And I'm just wondering if you have a prediction on who's going to win the AFC and NFC championship games this weekend.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for your kindness. You know, I did do the push-up, the Bobby and...
Oh, you did? Okay.
Bobby and Pete push-up and pull-up challenge. And Bobby said that I won. So I'll take it. But yet he is very athletic, and so are others in that cabinet, including some of our ladies. You know, we all got our gifts. But, you know, I would love for my Broncos to beat the Patriots. In the AFC Championship game. You know, Bo Nix went down, but I'm believing in Stedham. I'm believing in him. They have a tremendous defense, so I would love to see the Broncos go to the Super Bowl. From the other side, you know, I think it's up in the air. But I do believe this year that whoever goes to the Super Bowl, that it's going to be a tremendous game. I think the right people are in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, you can't argue with the Bronco defense. It might be the best defense in the league.
They are very stingy.
So good. And I mean, it means a lot for you to say that because Of course, you played DB in the league for 9 years,
Right.
like we were saying.
Right.
And at one point, you spent a little time with the Chargers.
Yes, sir.
And I think were you with the Chargers when you got a pick six on Gus Frerotte?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
it was 2000, the year 2000. Remember Y2K?
Yeah.
And it was the Chargers versus the Broncos. I was playing for the Chargers, and we went to Mile High Stadium, and it was like 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 5. I can't remember. 3rd and short. And they came out in this certain formation, and I remember from my film study, this formation that the receiver that I was on, which was a slot receiver, he kind of ran like a 5-yard in or a 5-yard slant that we call it. Well, lo and behold, he did. And I scooted in just a little bit before him, and Gus Frerotte threw the ball to me. And I took it back for a touchdown, I think like 75 yards. And so I'm very endearing to Gus Frerotte. He gave me a great gift during Y2K.
And he was a teammate of yours at one
He
point,
was.
right?
We played together at the Redskins prior to that.
Okay, okay. So you've seen a lot of change in the league. Probably in your time in the league, you saw change. But I wonder if you could talk about how is it different today from when you were playing, 20 years ago?
That's a great question. Several ways. One, the game is a lot more efficient. Two, the rules have changed from a safety and a health and safety perspective. So guys really are playing longer on average. I think the average is still between 3 and 4 years, but generally guys are playing longer now. Practices look a lot different. We used to have full padded practices, every single week. Now in the NFL, you can only have 11 full padded practices for the entire season.
Oh, wow.
And so we used to have training camp for 6 weeks. Now training camp is nothing. The preseason games shrunk by 1, so now it's 3 preseason games. Now they do have 1 more regular season game, but they also make more money, if you will. So the money aspect in the league today is far different. When I first came into the NFL, the rookie minimum was like $119,000, which in America, that's a lot of money. Right. But here you are 30 years later, the rookie minimum is $850,000. So even the compensation is different. The rules are different. Health and safety is different. The equipment today that they have today is different. These guys have chefs. They have hyperbaric chambers. They have the nutrition is so different. But I think we were a lot tougher. Haven't said all that.
I don't think there's a single veteran of the NFL that would argue with that.
No, indeed. No, we were a lot tougher.
But it's still a great product. I mean, you look at every professional sport. I love basketball. I love baseball. I love hockey. I love football. I think the NFL puts on the best product in professional sports. They've got something special, and the way they've been able to keep it together all these years and make it better and better every single year, it's amazing.
It is. It's a machine. My dear brother, Troy Vincent, who's the head of football operations, he does a tremendous job, him and his team. And the commissioner, they've been dedicated to putting on a good product, if you will. I hate to use that word, but it's sports and entertainment. But we also have a bunch of dedicated kids, young men in the NFL that practice and play very, very hard and take the game very seriously. So I'm grateful for that. There's always improvements to be made to every business, which, I hope to help them. In the days ahead, I have helped them, through the years. But right now, I'm serving my country.
Yeah, you are, which is great. We're really, really happy you're doing the job you're doing. It's a very important job, and appreciate you putting in so much time on our behalf.
Absolutely. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, brother.
Scott Turner, just an incredible guy, obviously getting to the bottom of a tremendous amount of fraud in our system all across the country. As he said, it's not just in Minneapolis, it is in cities all over the place, and they're just finding it, and it's billions of dollars. But how about all of the things he was saying about the NFL, the changes in the league over the years from the time he was playing, and a lot of optimism for your Denver Broncos this weekend, Smug.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the best part of the weekend. I think we got a great shot. We got a great team. I think we do. I think we do.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, listen,
great defense.
I mean, everyone would feel better if Bo Nix was there, but like Duncan said, the defense is just tremendous.
Do we feel better or worse as a program if Smug's team wins and gets to the Super Bowl?
Isn't that telling?
I have no choice.
Telling? Think about that.
I have no choice because as a Colts fan, I cannot root for the Patriots.
Yeah, I find it hard too.
So.
But it's a very Minnesota thing. They just love misery. You know? That's why the state's falling apart. Listen to that. He's like, do I want my friend to feel good?
Real agony, guys. That's how you know it's real.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's real. Well, listen, thanks a bunch for joining us. It's been a hell of a week. With that, fellas, I think we did it.
I think so. Absolute banger of an episode. Gentlemen, thank you so much to Secretary Turner, and thank you to the Minions. Remember, if you have not yet, go to the YouTube and hit that subscribe because it's more fun in video. So until next time, Minions, keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs. We'll see you on Tuesday. Stay ruthless.